Every brother was caught in the crossfire.
Godzilla, King of the Monsters is directed by Michael Dougherty, who directed Krampus a few years ago. It stars Millie Bobby Brown in a story of Godzilla wreaking havoc and trying to stop King Ghidorah alongside fighting other monsters like Rodan and Mothra, and big monster fight stuff happens and the government is trying to figure out how to deal with this problem. So every Godzilla movie ever. And this is a mixed bag for a lot of people. Critics hate it. People seem to really love it. Some of my friends really enjoyed the film. Me, I liked it, but I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I think it is a perfectly fine Godzilla movie with a lot of cool action, great visual effects, really awesome action sequences, but it doesn't have that grand feeling that the first Godzilla movie had. This is the third entry into the MonsterVerse by Warner Brothers, and I think this is probably their weakest of the bunch. I don't think this movie had the grand scope that the other films do, and they had some of the worst characters I have seen out of the entire franchise. These characters are so forgettable, so copy and paste plaster from other movies that I just want to go back to whatever the monsters are up to. And the problem is these characters take a big chunk of the movie. They are literally one of the main... When you have a movie that has really boring characters and they take up a lot of space from the movie, it's just a problem. And sometimes the tone of this movie, because of the characters, is off. They could say something dramatic, but in a sort of dramatic scene, it will follow up with a joke that will destroy the entire moment. And the movie suffered from an identity crisis from that. Yeah, it's a Godzilla movie. It's just big monsters fighting. It's supposed to be dumb fun. But I want dumb fun to at least make sense. And for the most part, it just didn't work out because these characters are just so forgettable that I just didn't want to spend any more time with them. The only one character that I could find watchable was Millie Bobby Brown's character, but that's because she's actually putting effort. Everyone else just feels like copy and paste. The main character is literally a character that's like the opposite of the main character in the first Godzilla movie, who is so forgettable he doesn't do anything. This guy does everything, but he's somehow forgettable also. In fact, I think he's more forgettable. Also, the filmmaking. In my opinion, and my friend Jackson is going to hate me for this, but I feel like the first movie is much better. In every way possible, but mostly in terms of scope and filmmaking. I think the first movie is much better edited. I think it is a much better acted movie. It had at least a better characterization. At least the characterization in the first movie is better than anything here. I mean, the new one, what characters are there? But filmmaking, I feel like this movie lost some of the grand scope that the first movie had. Whenever I watch the first Godzilla, I still am in awe of the scope. It's not a perfect movie, but Gareth Edwards knows how to make Godzilla and the monsters and the world around feel big. And Michael Dougherty can do that sometimes here. There are many times where the scope is grand and amazing. It's very visually cool to look at, and the action scenes are entertaining. But when you get into the actual action and the monsters are actually fighting, it just doesn't have that same feeling that I got from the first Godzilla. There's a lot of close-up shots of these monsters, and because it's usually in the dark, you can't always see what is going on. When it's the daytime, it looks amazing, but whenever it's in the night, you cannot tell what's going on sometimes. I know it seems like I am hating this movie a lot. I enjoyed it. Godzilla is awesome. King Ghidorah is awesome. The monster stuff are awesome. The visual effects are awesome. The pacing is fine. The editing is okay for the most part. But it's just a fine, watchable Godzilla movie for me. And the characters just take so much time up from everything going on. And that's hard for me to really see myself watch this movie again. I can see myself watching the first one more than this one. And that is just my opinion. You guys are allowed to have different opinions on this Godzilla movie because this is probably one of the most divisive Godzilla films I have seen in the franchise. But if you're like a huge Godzilla fan, you might enjoy it. But if you're looking for a story and character, that I still don't understand why you're here anyway. But you're not gonna get any of it here. Or if you just want dumb fun, this movie can entertain you, but it is not always consistent with its dumb fun. And for that, I'm gonna give Godzilla King of the Monsters a B. I don't think it is as bad as the critics are saying. I don't think so. I do agree that this is a fine movie to watch. But I do not love it as much as other people do because the characters take so much time and the scope and visual look of the movie is not as big as I think the filmmakers wanted it to be, and it just felt a little inconsistent in some points. But overall, I still think it is a perfectly fine movie to watch, and I do recommend you guys go check it out and have fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time.
So heaven, if you sent us there.